Hey YouTube, ChaCha'z here. How's everybody doing? I hope everybody's having a good day today. Tomorrow's Friday, so looking forward to sleeping in Saturday. And I hope everybody really had a good Easter and continue to seek the Lord because He loves you more than you can imagine. But anyways, I wanted to come up here and talk about finances. And what prompted me to discuss finances today is because I had a situation come up this past weekend and it was quite frustrating. Someone had asked me to borrow money and I said no because, that person unfortunately has a history of borrowing money and not paying back. But that person is also fully capable of working. They're healthy, they're well, they can go look for a job, they can really actively look for a job. And it is just, there was no reason for that person to ask that. And so I said no because, like I said, they already have a history of not paying back. But two, it's setting a precedent, that, oh, well, whenever you're unwise, then just feel free to go ask someone for money. And that's just not how it works. First and foremost, the Bible does say that if we don't work, we don't eat, and two, we are to be good stewards of what the Lord has given us, especially, our money, because, we have an obligation to be responsible with what God has given us. So first things first, whenever you get paid, you tithe. You give back to the Lord. You give Him your first fruits. So every paycheck, before you pay anything else, tithe. Make sure you put that money aside and you tithe, and then you budget the rest of it. So I do the 10%, and then I budget. So I have a calendar. I write everything down that I needs to be paid every month. I take the time to write some, the stuff down and what needs to be paid, how much I have coming in, what do I have going out, and then I pay my bills and I cross them off, as I'm paying it. And then so that's what I do. But what this person did, what they said, which was really shocking to me, is they were like, "Oh, but you got a job." That's the key. I got a job. I went out and first I prayed, I asked the Lord to bless me with the job. And then I went and I applied for jobs. And then actually I even told the Lord, Lord, I don't want to wait a long and I don't want it to be like this where I have to apply for all these different jobs. I just want to be able to go and just get a job. I don't want to deal with unemployment. I just want to get a job. I want to work. And then the Lord just gave me such a peace that it was like, you don't even have to worry about it. You don't even have to, like the Lord let me know, stop asking because the job is yours. And then that day that I was praying it was the day of my face-to-face interview. And because I had already done the phone interview, and then they invited me down to into the showroom. And so I went down to do the face-to-face. And like I said, that day I was praying, and that's, the Lord let me know, stop praying, the job's already yours. I just felt it in my spirit, the Lord just let me know. So I go down to the showroom, and she's, explaining to me, what, the office and this and that, and we're talking, and then just right on the spot, I'd like to hire you, so that the Lord provided. So the first key is I asked the Lord to bless me. So it's the Lord that blesses with the job. But the Lord does expect us to get out and apply for jobs, to go do the interviews, and then to get up every day and make sure you're going to work, and you make sure once you're at work, you're doing your job. So you got to be a good steward of the job that God has given you. The Bible says you work as unto the Lord, and so you do your best, when you're at work. So that's number one is, yes, I prayed. I asked the Lord to bless me with the job, and He did just that. Never even had to worry about getting no unemployment check because I got hired like that. And then two, I went and I applied, and then I did the interview and I got the job. But then I also take the time to budget, so for, that person to say, "Oh, well, you got a job." Well, first, yes, pray, ask the Lord to bless you. Secondly, you got to go apply for some jobs. People aren't just going to come knocking on your door. Hey, yo, ChaCha'z, you need a job? No, they're going to be like waiting for the people to go to them and apply. That's how it works. We got to go out there and we got to apply for work after we have prayed. And you don't just apply for one job. I mean, a rule of thumb is at least apply for 3 full-time jobs a day. If you apply for at least 3 full-time jobs a day in a week, that is 21 jobs that you've applied for. Something out of those 21 jobs is going to become fruitful, especially right now when there's an employee shortage, there is a worker shortage. People are needed, to get out there and work. So if you apply for at least 3 jobs a day, and applying for jobs today is actually a lot easier than it was back in the day because everything's online. Like Indeed.com, I love Indeed.com because literally you just load up your resume there. You can tweak it and make changes to it as you have to add stuff to it, and then you can use your Indeed resume and just set shoot it off. So it's not like these old school applications. Like Indeed is a great resource, and then if you do have to go to a specific website where the employers want you to use their website, they'll put the link in there and you click the link and then you go and you fill out, the application online. You do what you need to do. I mean, I would be at night just laying down, and I'd just be shooting off, when I see something I was wanting to apply for, then I would just shoot off my Indeed resume because a lot of these employers, they use the Indeed resume as an application. Not all, but I would say probably majority of them do, would be my assumption because, I just shoot them off, and they use the Indeed resume. So that's number one. But to have an expectation of, oh, well, because you have a job, then, you should help me out. No, what you need to do is quit buying $20 salads. What you need to do is keep applying for work. And then once you get the money, budget it. Like, I cannot believe that person asked me that. It was so unbelievable. So personally, like I said, I literally take the time. I take the time when I know what my paydays are. I'll write them down in my calendar. And, and as I'm paying the bills, then I cross them off. So I project what my paycheck is going to be, like, because, I work the same amount of hours every week. So that's, I know what I have coming in. So then I know what I have going out, and so people need to get them a pen and get them a calendar and write that stuff down, and don't be expecting, like, for these other people that do that, they just expect someone to, like, give them their stuff. I mean, I was really just shocked at that, money just doesn't, nobody's just going to go knock on your door every month and, oh, what are you short because you weren't budgeting? No, if we don't budget, we're not working. Of course, people are going to suffer then, but that's their own doing. It's really our responsibility to work, take care of our jobs, do our best, and then be good stewards of our money. I'm not saying that we should never help people, because of course we should help people, but I'm talking about people that are just keep making one bad decision after another. It's like they just don't change, But now if it's someone that has a history of being responsible, they're always working, they're budgeting, they hardly never ask for anything, money, and they happen to fall on hard times and they need $50, well, then that's different, because that's a rare occasion where most of that time that person is responsible. Okay, that I understand. Or you may have an elderly person that is just, living so tight and they're not able to work because they're elderly and their bodies just don't allow them to. Well, then, yeah, help them out. Pay electric bill for them. Buy them some food, something to help them out. There's, some disabled people that would love to work, but their disabilities may not allow them to. And maybe they're a little short on groceries as it gets to the end of the month. Well, yes, help them out. But what I'm talking about are people that have no medical issues. They're just simply either lazy or irresponsible or both. And those people, we shouldn't be enabling. We need to really encourage them to be responsible and do what they need to do to take care of themselves, you know. But, so that for me was just a little shocking that, that had happened. And, the thing is, like, there's so many, like, free online stuff that you can create like, really, let me put it this way. There's a lot of free online stuff that if you need to create a budget, I recommend Dave Ramsey. I really I just finished the course. This is the second time I've taken the course. It's really a good course. I got my certificate here for doing the whole course. But it's something that I would recommend doing. He has the way he teaches. It's really good. And this is a man that is well acquainted with being wealthy and well acquainted with losing everything. And then he had to build his wealth again. I believe he said that happened to him twice. And he really has dedicated the last 30 years to educating people. I mean, Dave Ramsey is online, and you can watch a lot of his stuff for free on YouTube. I mean, it's just amazing courses to take. And two, what I like about this is it's not a gimmick. It's not a gimmick. This is all these giving you the tools on what you can do to help yourself. And it's hard work. And that's the one thing he says is it's not going to be easy. It is going to be a sacrifice because you're going to have to do things you're not used to doing, like not eating out or really budgeting or, go get a second job. It's going to take time. It's him giving you the tools, telling you what worked for him and what's worked for lots and lots of people and can work for you if you're willing to A, take the class, and B, take the steps. And there's a lot of people that have, like me, I have access to now for, a whole year, I have access to the online. So there's a lot of people probably in your area that you can watch the videos with them, through your online stuff. So, if you know someone that has it, ask them, hey, can I watch the videos with you and look through the workbook and write things down? I mean, it's worth it, so there's really, for people that are able to work and be healthy and they are healthy and there's no reason why they can't work, they really just, they need to work and not expect everybody to like just give them stuff, and assuming that a person has money just because they work, they have a great job or because they have nice stuff in this house, people don't know why people have what they have, but I will say something, this man here, Dave Ramsey, that has, they've done studies, a lot of people that are millionaires, majority of them didn't become a millionaire because somebody gave them $1 million like an inheritance. No, a lot of these people became millionaires because of hard work and sacrifice and learning to save. And one thing about the last course that I really did like, it talks about giving. But in this situation, when he's talking about giving, he's talking about giving to people that really need it. People that, they're working hard. Like you may have that single parent being a waitress and man, you see that person there all the time and they're just trying to make their ends meet. Some people will leave like $200-300 tips just to be that blessing to help them out. That's the kind of giving where you see a person is trying to help themselves. Or there's a lot of charities, for kids that are, are in need, or, the St. Jude where, these are, people that, young kids that have cancer and that hospital, they don't charge the parents for any of the medical care, so all of the donations strictly help the hospital to be able to take care of these kids, and then the parents don't ever have to worry about getting a bill. Or for those that love animals, there's a lot of charities in helping animals, or there was one that I saw where this woman, because now she's in a financial spot that she can do this, she buys food and she packs it for kids, and so that's the kind of giving that it's really neat, or the one story that I heard where a lady was sitting in a church and she was sitting next to a couple and they were talking about how, they were struggling and they didn't, really understand what was about to happen and how the Lord provided. Well, very quietly, the lady, was just kind of probing them, and she was able to get, where they lived and all of that. And then she went and told someone else about it, and the guy went out and, and called that address in, and she covered them for a year. She covered their electric bill for a year, and they had no idea that that's what she had done. As a matter of fact, when church was over, they got a notification, and they were like, "Yeah, so somebody paid our bill for a year." Like they were extremely touched, And she did it quietly. She didn't say, "Oh, it was me." Like they didn't know that that's what that's what was going to happen. She just did it quietly, because remember, the Bible says when we give, don't let the left hand know what the right hand does, because then when we're trying to get glory for ourselves, you see what I did that. No, God can't bless that then. He's not going to bless that because you're trying to get your own glory. No, when you give quietly, don't let your left hand know what the right hand does. Meaning, don't go telling people. If you're giving, it's because the Lord put you in a position to be able to do that. And God is working through you. When you keep it quiet and you keep it to yourself, the Lord will bless you openly. And that is biblical. So giving is important. But ask the Lord for wisdom and guidance on when and how to give. And I think, sometimes I think what is neat too is, and I heard about this too. I know someone that did this where they were in a grocery store and somebody was having a hard time paying for groceries, and they happened to notice it, and then they paid for their groceries, So that kind of stuff, that's the kind of giving that is just, it's neat for them, and it's neat for the person that's giving. Because to me, when we're giving, it should be a blessing for both the giver and for the receiver. But I will tell you this much, the person that's doing the giving, they gain so much more. It's more of a joy to give than it really is to receive, because while you do bless the person and they're happy that God provided and worked through you to be a blessing to them, but for the person that is doing the giving, it's just this joy inside that you get, and that only comes from the pureness of doing something as unto the Lord, giving because that's where the Lord called you to do that. I remember being at a drive-through, and the person in front of me, I didn't even know it, had paid for my food, and what little did that person know is I had just lost my father, and I was upset, obviously, and when I get to the line to pay for my food, they said, "Oh, your food was already paid for by the person in front of you in the drive-thru," and I wasn't even expecting that, and I, put my hand out to thank him, and he waved back at me, and that was a really neat thing, as happy as that made me, like as shocking as that was, and it was really touching, but there's no doubt in my mind that the joy in him was even greater because he blessed someone, and little did he know that I had just lost my father, a complete stranger. So, giving should be done quietly. It should be done as what the Bible says. Don't let the left hand know what the right hand does. But anyways, I hope that this helps you all. I hope this encourages you all. And honestly, I would go on YouTube and I would check him out. This is a really good financial plan that he has. The second time I took the class, and I like it, and and it's updated from when I first took it years ago, because obviously banking has changed. But anyways, take the class. Seek God, serve the Lord, and be blessed. Thank you. Bye-bye.